An evaluation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's bilateral engagement with major global powers in the last 1 year is very critical in appraising the renewed Hope administration's achievements.
The role of the president of any country, be it the political leader or a monarch, is to be the number one salesman of that country. So we can't make any mistake about that. But you see, if it is not driven purposefully, it will amount to nothing. I mean, in terms of the net gain to the country, rather, you will end up with a net loss for the country. Those who are trying to evaluate, the frequent trip of President Ahmed Tinubu since becoming president would have to look at, indeed, the preparations, but also the optic of the meeting itself. The improvement of Nigeria's profile internationally is something that could be assessed, after a brief period of time. A year is too short to, begin to make such assessments. But of course, you can always, look at what Mr. President is doing vis-a-vis the sort of perception that people have about Nigeria, and then you ask yourself whether the actions taken or the activities of government are actually the sort of things that will launder Nigeria's image abroad. We have seen that President Bola Tinubu is actually desirous of renegotiating international agreements that actually leave Africa, particularly Nigeria, high and dry in terms of tariffs on trade and other forms of trade agreements. Well, it could very well be that by the trips that he's undertaking, he's actually mobilizing support, which is a very good thing. But it will take a while for us to begin to see whether it is of net gain for Nigeria as opposed to net loss.
The US-Nigeria Business Council is felicitating with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the occasion of your administration's 1-year anniversary. The US-Nigeria Business Council is proud to contribute to Nigeria's economy through increased trade and investment flows between the two countries, as well as facilitation connecting Nigerian businesses to American investors through business summits, conferences, B2B and B2G meetings. The US Business Council engages in advocacy efforts to promote policies that support economic development and trade between the United States and Nigeria. Happy 1-year anniversary. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Signed, Engineer Titus Olowokere, CEO, US Nigeria Business Council.
In 2023, President Bola Tinubu made several international trips where he engaged with world leaders as the new president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Tinubu hit the ground running with his first trip to France in June 2023, where he attended the new Global Financial Pact Summit. The 2-day summit afforded the president the opportunity of projecting on the global stage his advocacy for widening the fiscal space, economic justice for Africa as the world accelerates the pace for energy transition, and the urgency of addressing the pressing issues of poverty and climate change. Dr. Kazim Bello, a development economist and global financial analyst, takes it from a global perspective.
We are in a new era of a new administration, and the administration in a couple of days will be clocking 1 year in office. And we know that the responsibility of managing an economy of the size of Nigeria, which of course happens to be presently as at moment, the largest economy, so to say, in the continent Africa. And also looking at the perspective of the Nigerian leadership role in both geopolitical and economic landscape in Africa, it is just incumbent for a typical Nigerian president to undertake an engagement of the global community in terms of the networking for bilateral and multilateral relationship. Speaking to the issue of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu hitting the ground running by visiting France, number one, we have to understand that the president is the chief marketing officer of the country. Like he himself has alluded to, he has signed up to take up this assignment, and he's somebody that is versatile. He is somebody, one of the presidents, or few presidents that we have had in Nigeria, that has tasted it in all ramifications. And hitting the ground running from day one, it should not be seen as anything special. We should look at it as part of this responsibility that he knows very well that he has to undertake. So apart from the very first journey to France, he has done a couple of ones to other part of the world. So engaging world leaders at that level is very important, and it's very important from the perspective of retooling the Nigerian economy. It's very important in perspective of introducing himself and the agenda he has to the global economics and to the global world leaders.
President Bola Tinubu received a special invitation by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend the G20 Leaders Summit. The G20 Summit provides a platform for world leaders to address critical global issues and foster international cooperation. President Tinubu's participation was aimed at strengthening Nigeria's ties with other countries in Asia, as well as bolstering economic ties, attracting foreign investment, and promoting Nigeria as a business-friendly country. How has the G20 Summit attracted foreign investment to Nigeria? Dr. Kazim Bello tells us more.
It's not news that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu attended the G20 Summit last year. It's an annual ritual by the World 20 leading economies, the host country. That's not the first time anyway, essentially, that a Nigerian president has been invited to G20, essentially because of the leading role, the economic leadership role Nigeria plays in Africa. It is just natural that, well, we may not have attained the rights to, in terms of economic empowerment, to be part of the G20. We're going to reach there, but they cannot, that economic bloc cannot ignore the fact that Nigeria is a dominant economy in Africa and it's a huge populated country. In fact, Nigeria economic statistics can rival quite a good number of those members of the G20 that we are talking about. How many of them can actually boast of the kind of human capacity that we have in terms of human resources in Nigeria? Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa and running head-to-head with most of those so-called G country economies as well. Anyway, moving to what has the impact of the participation of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu in the G20 has impacted on the Nigerian economy. Well, we are not looking at spot impact in terms of, oh, this is what it was done immediately following the summit. What we are looking for is a regular pattern of driving for FDI meaning foreign direct investment, into Nigeria. I mean, it wasn't as if President Bola Tinubu went to India to shake hands or to, so to say, introduce himself to the world leaders. They know him, they already know him, and they know he's the president of Nigeria already. So he had robust and very cogent discussion and conversation with most of the world leaders, and then especially the Indian economic team and the industrial team. And at the end of the day, if my memory can recollect me very well, we had information that the Indians business community were even committed to about $17 billion in investment, fresh investment, injection into the Nigeria economy in various industries, especially in the steel and the manufacturing sector. So one of the reasons why the president have to undertake such trips and engage such leaders is to drive that foreign investment and FDI that we're talking about. We have to also understand that Nigeria has taken a huge toll down south in terms of growing the FDI in the last couple of 5 years. In fact, it is very alarming that it is dropping at a very alarming rate from almost like $10-15 billion that we have recorded in about 10 years ago, and then we hardly can boast of $2 billion as our last year. Of course, arising from various economic downturn in the system and some kind of shock in the system, which is driving away foreign investors. But President has done tremendous job within this small space to reassert the importance of the Nigerian and veracity of the Nigerian economy to the international world. And that is why we are seeing FDI crippling back into Nigeria in a gradual process. One of the reasons why I always believe that the federal government, led by the current president, should take proactive measures, should be aggressive in getting ourselves into those conferences, into those forums, into those summits. We don't have to wait for them to invite us. We do not have to. Those conferences are default, meaning that they are held every year anyway. We know they are going to come up, and we know that's why they share the power. The global leaders share the power. That's why they discuss about new investment, new opportunities. So do we have to wait? We do not have to wait. That's why the president signed up for. Even if he has to stay on here, global trotting, getting us results into Nigeria is key. That is the key. It's not essentially, we don't need him sitting down in Aso Rock and in the Kosi office, because he said it several times. I'm using his word. He clearly said, look, I signed up for this job and the box top on my table. So if he spends 40, 45, 50% of his time in here trying to make Nigeria better, global trotting to engage world leaders and economic leaders, so be it. That is what we need in Nigeria. And like I just said, we fell in FDI from over 15 billion to 2 billion in 10 years. That is unacceptable for an economy that we need over 20 billion yearly. 20 billion yearly for consistently for 10 years. 20 billion for 20 billion consistently for 10 years on infrastructural deficit. Where do we think that money will come from? If TINUBU do not engage world leaders, do not engage world economic companies, do not engage world investors.
The Nigerians in Diaspora Organization NIDO Worldwide is felicitating with you President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the occasion of your administration's one-year anniversary. NIDO Worldwide is proud to contribute to the nation's GDP through remittances and investment, and would love to do more to touch the lives of Nigerians back at home, assured that the renewed hope agenda of your administration would provide the enabling environment. God bless NIDO Americas, God bless NIDO Europe, God bless NIDO Asia, God bless NIDO Oceania, God bless NIDO Africa, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Has the G20 summit actually promoted Nigeria as a business-friendly country? Honorable Collins Nweke has this to say.
It's probably unrealistic to begin to expect that just 1 year, in office, the positive impacts of President Tinubu's bilateral, engagements would already start yielding results. It just doesn't work that way. Even in the best of economies, even in the most stable countries of the world. Now, we're dealing with Nigeria as a country where risks analysts are actually, telling their clients that you need to watch this, you need to watch that as far as Nigeria is concerned. Ultimately, people are still investing because, despite the challenges, there are still huge opportunities in Nigeria. And President Tinubu has used the last 1 year not only talking about the fact that Nigeria has potential, but he is actually taking steps to demonstrate and illustrate those potentials that Nigeria has, and the fact that efforts are being made to actually ease doing business in Nigeria, avoid double taxation and all of that. So while that is happening, I think the downside is that mainly only short-term business decisions as far as investing in Nigeria could be made. Long-term, and I'm talking of 10, 20, 50 years, long-term business decisions, people are not quite, foreign investors are not quite ready to make such. So, they make short 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe maximum 5 years business decision, and so they can roll things back when the risk factors begin to rear their ugly head. So that's a major issue. And now, if President Tinubu is able to build on the preliminary successes that he has made in the first year in terms of developing some vital tools after actually setting the ball rolling in terms of transformative business-friendly policies domestically, if he can sustain that, I believe it will give more assurances to foreign investors, and they will begin to invest more. Only then can we then begin to see the positive impact. But there are also quite a lot of work to be done.
In September 2023, President Bola Tinubu traveled to New York, United States of America, to attend the 78th United Nations General Assembly. President Tinubu emphasized on the importance of seeing Africa development as a priority, calling on world leaders and global institutions to invest in Africa and, by extension, Nigeria.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to make a very strong case to the international community, to his foreign counterparts, and to the world that this is the era of Africa, that Africa is rising, that it has come of age, and that Africa must be represented at every meaningful global decision-making table. The President will be very clear as to what his vision is for the role of the Federal Republic of Nigeria within that context.
On behalf of the people of Nigeria, we are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership.
Dr. Kazim comments on the New York trip.
The UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, again, like I said earlier on, is another annual rituals that we know that takes place around the world. It's a forum where everybody assembles and can engage themselves and further strengthen relationships and also talk about business and other things vis-a-vis what the global political, geopolitical economy and issues around the world. I happen to have participated in UNGA. I've not missed any UNGA in the last 5 years. I've been part of it since for more than 15 years now. I've always attended the United Nations General Assembly. So the first year of President Tinubu at the UNGA was very, very successful. Quite a number of the ministers came in, and they actually booked and signed up for a side event to drive home the agenda of the renewed hope of the new administration. And beyond that, there was a lot of engagement in terms of reaching out to the business community, not only from the United States, but also from around the world that came visiting with their presidents. I know I attended a couple of them. I attended about 3 or 4 ministerial side talk show and also the president's engagement with the diasporas, Nigerian diasporas in New York. Anyway, one point that I want to mention about that historic speech by President Bola Tinubu to the General Assembly was the fact that two things that he mentioned that is critical. Number one, that is the power equation has to be balanced. Because let's face it, the man was just equivocally right. You cannot literally be talking of economic power without political power. That is just simple. You have to have a combination of the two going together for you. If you have economic power and you don't have political power, you are still going to be a bastion. You're still going to be relying on somebody. But if you have political power without economic power, again, you still have to be begging somebody. So this is why the two have to be symbiotic. They have to go side by side. So what President Tinubu said at the General Assembly was that, one, there is a need right now for the United Nations to admit one African country as a member of the permanent veto and permanent power in the United Nations. We have 5 of them, and they've been like that since 1944. And it is time, going to 100 years now, that equation must be changed. You cannot have 5 of them alone dominating the superiority of political power in the world, vetoing anything, when there are other powerful countries around the world that are coming up. So why not have one based on continental spread? And at least if one member of the veto handing power is from Africa, President Tinubu is not necessarily saying it must be Nigeria, but he's saying one African member should be admitted into that veto power system. Number 2, he championed economic power for Africa. What he literally, because I listened to that speech, and what he literally was alluding to was that, look, it is no longer business as usual to think that Africa should be the feeding stock for raw materials, the feeding stock for human capital development, the feeding stock for everything that you need to power your industrialization. We are talking about lithium in the new power equation and energy generation. Where on earth do you have the largest supply of lithium in planet? It's in Africa. Niger, Chad, Mali, Nigeria, Congo, all of these countries has trillions, billions of deposits of this product. And we are saying that this is what is going to generate the equation for energy and power generation in the next generation, in this next level, globally. So essentially, what President Tinubu was saying that, come to Africa and negotiate with us. Talk to us. Don't take it as if it is business as usual. Now, we want you to come and talk to us. And when you come to talk to us, you are coming to talk to us with value, so that we can use that value to empower our citizens. We can use that power value to build our infrastructure and be like Europe, be like South Asia and East and North Asia, be like North America. We can use that value to empower our youth and give them the human development capacity that they need to rival with the rest of their age bracket around the world. So essentially, those two key things that Bola Tinubu said was very important at the UN General Assembly. And I wish whoever is in charge at the Child Affairs, the Nigerian mission in UN, can project that as part of the key things that President Tinubu delivered to the world and to the world leaders. Two things again. We need political power in Africa, we need economic power in Africa, and those are very key.
The Julie Darling Entertainment World, proud owners of Global Light, a 25-minute documentary program showing every Tuesday on NTA News 24 at 8:30 p.m. heartily felicitate with you President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the occasion of your administration's 1-year anniversary. Global Light, a program that highlights issues from a global perspective, is disposed to showcasing by way of broadcast the renewed hope agenda of your administration. Happy 1-year anniversary. Announcer Taiwo Adekanye, CEO, Julie Darling Entertainment World. Join us in the next episode of Global Light, plus our segments in light of global issues.